All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography biz. We're actually going to check out, see if it's local and city, combined local city search here. Has BSS, yes or no? So we're back here in the GBC universe. So we take declining boudoir photographers, make them into the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More of that and, like the pinned post or whatever, featured post on this profile. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So for rising, we're probably getting everyone across the entire intent spectrum, the intent ladder here. High intent on the left, lowest intent over on the right. And if a boudoir photographer, their business is falling, probably missing chunks of people here in the intent spectrum. So here we talk about way on the left, BSS. So we're focusing on the highest intent people, the people searching for boudoir photo shoots in their city right now on social media and in Google search. So closest to the money, easiest to close. And way over at the other end, that's the lowest intent people in our city. Got to reach them with interruption ads via Instagram and Facebook. Maybe they know what boudoir is. Maybe they've never heard of it. We got to educate them. And so that's what we talked about on our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We talked about BLCS. And right now we're only working with boudoir. Over there, we're only working with boudoir photographers, spending more than 10 grand per month on boudoir Facebook ads. All right, so boudoir search sameness, BSS, that's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on Google, on page 1 of Google search for the highest intent keywords. So 0 slots, we're going to be dead soon if we got 0 slots on page 1. That's because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never go past page 1. They're page 1 only. So that means approximately 20% go to page 2 and deeper. So we care about this 80%, the bulk of the market. This is who we're going to focus on. So if we got 0 slots, we're invisible to 80% of the market, which means we're basically an invisible business. If we got 1 slot, we're still essentially invisible because we look the same as everyone else. If there's 10 organic slots page 1 on Google, if other peeps, if there's 9 other boudoir photographers than us, that means, we got 1 link same as everyone else, and a buyer's just going to go down page 1 Google search, control click, right click, open a new tab, everyone, shoot a message to everyone, get price quotes, compare pricing, and price shop, everyone on page 1. But if we can get more real estate on page 1 and fewer competitors on page 1, we actually get price shop less. Now, 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google is not normal. It's extremely common, but it's not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about, and the previously unknown root cause, which we now know, is actually the false belief of page 1 equality. So market saturation, that's when someone gets a new phone, they are a new iPhone, and they throw up their own Google My Business profiles, and then actually boudoir, they got their own website. They're trying to compete with us for page 1 Google supremacy. And as a result, we also got people getting a new camera, then they start posting the mom groups on Facebook, and they also offer boudoir photography. So market saturation means more sellers to the same number of buyers. That's literally what it means. It means it's harder and harder for each seller to win. So everyone understands also big market saturation happened during COVID. People couldn't work, people lost their jobs, and they had to, big flood of boudoir photographers came into the market then because people had to, because they needed to earn money somehow. Now, the previously unknown root cause, the second one, is the false belief of page 1 equality. And what that is, so the default belief of page 1 equality, which kind of people automatically accepted, they didn't really think about it because there was no term to actually describe it, is actually kind of assuming or just accepting that, every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google for their website, and if the market gets saturated, it pushes off page 1 to page 2, because some new websites ranking higher. Well, that's how it is, and that's simply how it is, whatever. That's the game, and hopefully someone deletes their website, so maybe we can get back on page 1 and Google lets us back in. But no, that is 100% false. That is a false belief, and we have to simply accept that. what I've discovered is Google will actually give us as many links and slots on page one Google search as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And I use this strategy that we're going to talk about to go from 0 out of 10 slots on page one to 9 out of 10 slots on page one of Google search in 10 days. So we'll talk about that in like 3 or 4 more pictures here. Next up, we know that Boudoir photographer with BSS, Boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing Boudoir photographer. So if we got 0 slots on page one, we're on page two, we're invisible to the 80%, approximately 80% bulk of the market. Disappearing Boudoir photographer, we got disappeared onto page two. And if we're, one slot on page one of Google, then we're also disappearing because we're not visible. I mean, people don't see no difference between us and everyone else on page one of Google. Literally nothing different. And there's a clicking price shop plus everyone down page one. And again, approximately 80% of Google searches never even go to page two. So we don't got to worry. We literally don't have to worry about page one. And disappearing Boudoir photographer, basically it's the canary in the coal mine. If one becomes a disappearing Boudoir photographer, pretty soon thereafter, the Boudoir photography business will disappear as well. But now we have a solution. So we now know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka our S-cubed methodology that we invented. And again, this is exactly the strategy, the methodology I use to go from 0 out of 10 slots on Google page one to 9 out of 10 slots on Google page one in 10 days. And this is the only strategy for boudoir photographers that I've seen that can actually successfully fight back and against market saturation and continue to grow market share. And so it works by, and we'll go deeper into it, but the name, social search saturation. We saturate social search for our highest intent keywords. It's kind of like the feeder rivers, small feeder rivers from the Andes Mountains and to the Amazon. And kind of all that reputation, the keyword dominance on search flows into the Amazon River, page one Google search, and the pages thereafter for what we want to rank for. And so, yeah, this is the only thing that I've seen that successfully fights back against market saturation and basically kind of makes it null and void. Because imagine we're in Las Vegas, imagine there's 1 million boudoir photographers total, we're one of them. Everyone's got a boudoir photography website, everyone's trying to rank on Google, page one Google. But if we crank up S-cube methodology to the maximum, and let's say we rank, the first 300 slots across all social platforms for search, and as a result, we also rank the first 300 slots Google for search for the highest intent keywords for boudoir photographer buyers. Then anytime a buyer in our city literally searches anywhere, most likely Google, 90% of searches still, approximately 90% of searches still happen on Google. Then we got the first 300 slots and there's 10 organic slots per page. We got the first 30 pages all to ourselves for the organic slots. And all the other competitors in organic, they start on page 31. No one's going to page 31. So even if the market's ultra saturated with 1 million boudoir photographers, whose business is still growing? Ours. Whose business is disappearing? All the other boudoir photographers, because they cannot be found. And guess what? Approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page two. They're page one only, which means we really only got to worry about page one and take as much, we say a GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 is what we want to take. But, S-cubed methodology gives us a pathway to take as many slots on page one as we want, if we put in the effort to acquire those slots. Now, once treated with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility. A bonus of this is every new slot we take on Google page one is we are kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. Again, that's because we actually know that approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page two. They're page one only searches. And that's all we care about. This is the bulk of the market, the approximately 80% of searches that happen like this. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. Now, our GBC recommended is always to hit 3 out of the 10 slots on page one, and that helps with boudoir search visibility because everyone else is going to have most likely 1 slot on page one. So when they see 3 versus 1, when buyers see 3 versus 1, they're instinctively going to say, wow, why is Google recommending this person so many different times? Um, you know, I'll just go with this person that's got the 3 slots. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny chance that another boudoir photographer will have 2 slots, but those tiny chances are 3 slots will always overwhelm them. So that's why we want boudoir search visibility. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our full micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. We now know it's false, but when people believed it prior, they never thought to try a solution to overcome it because they thought it was just the default, just how it is. But we've proven, we'll see in the next picture, proven that that's incorrect. We now have the path, we now have the solution, our own proprietary S-cubed methodology to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, and to have boudoir search visibility. So my results using S-cubed methodology for myself. So I want to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. So I employed S-cubed methodology. Go down to the organics here. So we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots, Google search page 1, in 10 days, exclusively using S-cubed methodology. And I was using on the minimum setting, like kind of the minimum, kind of the minimum frequency. So you can see the results that I got. Now, main event here, we're going to check out this boudoir photography business, going to check out their local and city search. Looks like we got them combined here. Their local and city search, and see if they got BSS, yes or no. So we're going to Kalamazoo, Michigan. All right, so we're over here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let's see what we got. Kalamazoo. All right, boom, we got one. All right, we got 2. All right, so we got. All right, so for local slash city search combined, we got 2 out of 10 page 1 slots in Google. So do not have BSS, but we are not meeting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search. And so these are the results that we see. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, you got BS boudoir search sameness. So you're at 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google for local search and city search, or even you haven't reached a 3 out of 10 GBC minimum, recommended minimum. And you now understand page 1 equality was a false belief. You're like, oh yeah, now that I think about it, actually it doesn't make sense. We can have as many slots on page 1 as we want, as we'll put in the effort for. And you understand market saturation, people buy new iPhones become boudoir photographers, new cameras become new boudoir photographers, but now there's a special third option, which is AI taking more and more people's job every single day, which means there's going to be more and more people entering the market, no job, becoming boudoir photographers because they already got the iPhone as a camera, throwing up their website, throwing up their Google My Business profile, posting in the mom groups, and actually, potentially pushing us off page 1. So you're going to see that more and more. And you're seeing S-cubed methodology is the only thing out there that we can see that actually effectively renders market saturation not a non-issue if we successfully use S-cubed methodology. And you want to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 organic page 1 slots on Google, because that's a result of saturating social search on all the search platforms already. That's simply the outcome. You want boudoir search visibility. And you also understand kind of the back-end bonuses of using S-cubed methodology, which is kind of the more thematic theme keyword columns we attach to our brand, kind of our usernames across social. The increased probability A, we show up here in AI search overview or AI overview, because we're getting these thematic keyword columns all built around us. And AI knows it because of it's pulling everything from social search, from Google. And so you want that higher chance of being here in the AI overview, kind of like the first main recommendation. It's kind of a bonus of using S-cubed methodology. And then the second bonus is you actually want the higher chance of showing up recommended for AI search, ChatGPT search, Claude search, and Perplexity search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search, people using AI search, which I haven't done a Google search, actually click and read a link in like a year. It's been all AI search. I'll use the Google AI mode feature. And so you're seeing all that. You want to achieve all that with S-cubed methodology. And you also know you want to be a first mover with this in your city, because you know that the more momentum, kind of the earlier you start, A, you'll give me exclusive leads for the city. B, kind of the thematic keyword columns that we'd start creating, these have momentum. It's not like ads where you just stop spending and they vanish. You lose your one slot Google, your Google keyword slot. Who cares about that if we can hit 6, 7, 8 out of 10 page one Google slots for the highest intent keywords? But we're actually building momentum in the background, because what we do to saturate social is kind of our strategy persists. It still exists even when no ad spend's being put behind it. So we're kind of building these thematic keyword columns in the background, higher chance we get recommended AI search. And you want to build these columns, kind of invisible thematic keyword columns, before all your competitors start to do it, because that will entrench you page one on Google, and maybe also bleed over into page two domination on Google and all search, all social platforms, and kind of prevent any new boudoir photographers coming into the market from ever ranking on page one, and also prevent them from ever catching up to all these thematic keyword columns you have attached to you that cause you to be recommended in AI search. And you also recognize if someone else starts using SQ methodology with me first, you would then have to figure out how to recreate our proprietary methodology, and then you'd have to equal our output doing it correctly to even keep pace with us and our competitor we're working with, and your competitor we're working with, and then you'd actually have to outwork us to overtake our momentum. We've already been building up invisible momentum with your competitor. So if you want all those outcomes, then shoot me a DM when the hospital opens for new patient intake. So hospital's closed right now, not taking any patients. No matter what you do, you can work with me. I will open new patient intake when I want to open new patient intake. And so if you want all these benefits, S-cubed methodology is the solution for you. Shoot us a DM when we do open for new patient intake, and we'll ask you some questions. We will see if you qualify.